Have you heard what Ozzy Osbourne just revealed about his health and why it's shattering the music world? For decades, he's been the unstoppable Prince of Darkness. But now, the truth behind his silence is finally out. In this video, you'll hear Ozzy's raw, heartbreaking confession and learn about his shocking final plans that no one saw coming. Stick around, because this isn't just a health update, it's the end of an era. Before the leather jackets, iconic riffs, and sold-out arenas, there was John Michael Osbourne, born in 1948 in the gritty working-class district of Aston, Birmingham. Far removed from the glamour and glitz of rock stardom, AZ was the fourth of 6 siblings crammed into a tiny house where life was tough and the future uncertain. The noise of everyday struggles and the rough edges of his neighborhood forged the raw energy that would later explode on stage. School was a battlefield too, with undiagnosed dyslexia and relentless teasing making it hard for him to fit in. But then, something changed. The Beatles' infectious sound, especially the smash hit "She Loves You," ignited a spark inside him. A spark that would grow into a blazing passion for music and shape the course of his life forever. When Ozzy teamed up with guitarist Tony, bassist Geezer, and drummer Bill, they initially called themselves Earth, but soon changed their name to something darker, more fitting: the ominous Black Sabbath. Their music didn't just ride trends, it shattered the mold, forging a brand new path with loud, haunting riffs and lyrics steeped in gloom. When their self-titled debut dropped in 1970, many listeners were unsure what to make of it, but Ozzy's haunting voice cutting through Tony's thunderous guitar soon captured hearts and minds. Black Sabbath wasn't just another band. They were the architects of heavy metal itself. Through monumental albums like Paranoid, Master of Reality, and Volume 4, the band rewrote rock history, and AZ became its unmistakable, magnetic face. On stage, AZ was untamed, an unpredictable force that made every performance feel like it could explode at any moment. But behind the wild persona, cracks were starting to show. His growing dependence on alcohol and drugs wasn't hidden. If anything, it became part of his identity. Yet this armor came at a steep price. In 1979, after years of mounting tension, Ozzy was ousted from Black Sabbath. What many thought would be the end of his story turned into a rebirth. With Sharon, his soon-to-be wife and steadfast manager, by his side, Ozzy launched a solo career that soared to new heights. Albums like Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman produced timeless anthems such as Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley, securing his place not just in rock, but in the fabric of popular culture. The Prince of Darkness wasn't just a title. It became a legend defined by jaw-dropping moments, like biting the head off a bat during a concert, and headline-grabbing feuds and breakdowns that played out for the public to see. Yet somehow, amid the chaos, he pressed on. Through the 80s, 90s, and into the new millennium, Ozzy Osbourne remained a constant force, even as the music world around him evolved. But lurking beneath every blistering solo and roaring crowd was a silent struggle. Every tour, every show was a drop added to a cup slowly filling with pain and wear. No matter the fame or the myth, AZ was still human, vulnerable to the toll of years spent living life at full throttle. Looking back, the warning signs were always there, but few wanted to confront them. Not the fans, not his bandmates, and perhaps not even AZ himself. Yet even those forged in iron can start to feel the creeping effects of time and turmoil. This is a story not just of triumph, but of the price fame demands, and how one man fought to keep his legacy alive amid the chaos. His solo career wasn't simply a return, it was a reinvention. Many believed his journey ended with Black Sabbath, but with Sharon's unwavering belief, everything shifted. Her faith in Ozzy became the backbone of his revival. When Blizzard of Oz was released in 1980, it wasn't just an album, it was a declaration. Crazy Train exploded onto the scene, capturing imaginations and cementing Ozzy's comeback. Joined by the youthful guitar wizard Randy Rhoads, the band's fresh energy and tight sound electrified fans. The world wasn't just watching, it was captivated. Off-stage, though, the storm didn't abate. Ozzy's battles with addiction persisted, fueled by the relentless pressure to maintain his image and the punishing grind of touring. In 1982, tragedy struck when Randy perished in a plane accident. The loss devastated Ozzy. Randy was more than a bandmate. He was a calming influence amid the chaos, a creative soulmate. After Randy's passing, Ozzy's spiral deepened, with heavier drinking, public struggles, and hospital visits becoming part of his harsh reality. Yet through it all, the music never ceased. Sharon's role grew from manager to lifeline. She pulled him back from the brink repeatedly, securing rehab stays and guiding him into the studio, guarding his legacy even when he couldn't protect himself. Throughout the 80s and 90s, Ozzy kept producing new work and touring. The 1991 release, No More Tears, offered fans another powerful anthem and expanded his devoted following. For younger generations, unaware of the Black Sabbath heyday, Ozzy's presence was rekindled by MTV's late-night rock shows and, later, the Osbourne reality series. The show peeled back the layers to reveal a man who was as funny and vulnerable as he was unpredictable, a far cry from the untouchable rock god image. But behind the laughter and eccentric moments was a deeper truth. The physical toll was undeniable. Each tour drained more from him, each performance a battle with pain. Trembling hands and stumbles became more frequent. Yet Ozzy rarely voiced these struggles, pushing forward because that's what he always did. Over time, missed shows and harder-to-follow interviews raised concern. Fans noticed the cracks, but Ozzy deflected with jokes, unwilling to shed the image of the indestructible rock icon. He was the man who'd clawed his way from factory floors in Birmingham to the world's biggest stages, a symbol of survival and relentless passion. But now, more than ever, it's clear that even legends have limits. He lived through the most relentless chapters in rock's wildest saga, defying odds that would have broken most. Friends lost along the way, near brushes with death more times than anyone could count. Yet Ozzy always found a way back. To his fans, he seemed invincible, a force of nature impossible to tame. But even legends, as untouchable as they seem, face their turning points. Gradually, the arenas and flashing lights faded into quieter days spent closer to home. The man who once roared to tens of thousands was now the one listening closely to doctors, tracking pills, and counting every step just to cross a room. And when it appeared he had weathered the storm, the ground shifted beneath him once again. For years, Ozzy was a whirlwind. Even as his health started to falter, he refused to slow down. Cancel one show? Maybe. But then 3 more were scheduled to make up for it. Falling on stage was never an option. He'd get up, shake it off, and keep going like nothing happened. But in recent times, the changes ran deeper than the body alone. His voice grew softer, less frequent in interviews, absent in the usual fan exchanges. The spark was dimming, and the silence was growing louder. In 2019, Ozzy shared a truth few expected. A serious fall at home had worsened injuries from a 2003 accident. Surgery followed, and recovery dragged on. Then, in early 2020, he revealed something even more unexpected. He was living with Parkinson's disease, a condition that would slowly take away control. For the Prince of Darkness, a symbol of relentless power, this was a shock that shook the foundation of his identity. When he spoke about it, the mask dropped. There was vulnerability in his eyes and uncertainty in his words. "I don't know what's next," he admitted, breaking the image fans had clung to for decades. But even then, Ozzy fought to keep music alive. New songs were released, talks of recording filled conversations. Hints of a comeback tour stirred excitement, though many quietly doubted if it was possible. Behind closed doors, treatments in Switzerland became his new routine. Family gathered close, offering support, while hope lingered like a fragile flame. Still, public appearances grew sparse. Sharon, his longtime partner, gave occasional updates, but Ozzy himself receded into the background. Photographs showed a thinner, quieter figure, someone familiar yet changed. Rumors swirled. Was this the beginning of the end? Was the legend about to fade for good? Those who knew him best insisted the fight wasn't over. There were better days, they said, but even those didn't shine like before. Ozzy had to relearn how to move cautiously, needing help just to walk. Standing was limited. The energy that once sparked wild performances now required meticulous planning just to get on stage. Yet, despite everything, the fire never fully died out. Music was no longer about fame or fortune. It was about feeling alive, about connection. The stage was where he truly belonged, and the thought of stepping away was unbearable. Still, with every passing month, the dream felt more distant. Tour announcements were made, then quietly erased. Planned appearances vanished without explanation. Each time hope flickered, the harsh reality settled in deeper. The man who once screamed above the crowd was now retreating into silence. Yet in rare moments on camera, his message remained steady. "I'm not done yet." But his body told a different story. Walking unaided was nearly impossible. Hospital visits became routine. His smile faded, conversations grew shorter, and slowly, the spotlight dimmed. Behind the scenes, Ozzy was wrestling with one of life's toughest battles. Those close to him described moments of deep thought. No bitterness, just exhaustion. Some days he couldn't even leave his bed. The idea of singing again in front of thousands felt like a distant dream. For a man who built his identity on that roar, it was heartbreaking. And yet, beneath the quiet, something was quietly taking shape. Something he hadn't yet shared with the world. A decision was forming. A way to close his story on his own terms. By 2024, the silence around Ozzy was deafening. Every rare sighting, every blurry photo in a hospital corridor, every whispered update only deepened the unease. Fans scanned his face for signs. Was he improving? Or was the final chapter quietly unfolding? Sharon assured everyone he was still fighting. His children spoke of good spirits and strength, but the truth was complicated. Parkinson's, spinal issues, nerve damage, multiple surgeries. His body bore scars unseen by most. Yet he held on. He stayed involved in small ways, gave scattered interviews, appeared on the Osbourne podcast, always emphasizing the importance of family. But the wild energy, the sharp wit, the quick humor, those days were behind him. His voice was softer, his eyes slower. And then something unexpected began to surface. Quiet clues, subtle hints. Those closest to him sensed it. He was working on something deeply personal. It wasn't about the past or the spectacle. It was something final, something meaningful. Conversations about music returned, but not in the way they once did. There were no dreams of lengthy tours or chart-topping albums. Instead, he was focused on one moment, one experience that mattered more than anything. Early in 2025, a trusted friend let slip a simple but powerful phrase in an interview. "He's not done." Just a few words, but they sent ripples through his fan base. What did it mean? Was Ozzy preparing for a comeback? Or was it a farewell in disguise? Suddenly, the world's eyes shifted back to him. The silence was no longer empty. It was charged with anticipation. Rumors grew. Ozzy had been spotted spending time in the studio, not to record new music but to rehearse. Not for a tour, but for something far more symbolic. No official announcements, no press releases, just quiet preparation. Old friends and collaborators quietly showed up. Production staff made calls. Stage crews reached out. It felt like the curtain was about to rise one last time. Then, in early 2025, Ozzy Osbourne finally broke his silence. No roaring stadium, no thunderous guitar. Instead, he appeared calmly on camera, at home surrounded by memories, framed albums, old photos from decades of tours, the faint hum of medical devices nearby. He looked different, softer, the fire dimmed but not extinguished. This was not just a moment. It was a beginning. The final act of a story written in scars and resilience, a testament to the spirit that refuses to fade quietly into the night. And just like that, the legend was ready to speak again. His movements had slowed, each step measured and deliberate, his face etched with the weight of years spent fighting battles unseen by most. This wasn't the fierce, untouchable rock legend who once commanded arenas with a fiery presence. This was a man confronting the toll life had taken on him. For years, Ozzy had kept his health struggles away from the spotlight. Rumors swirled ever since his neck injury back in 2019, which left him battling serious nerve damage. Eventually, the truth came out. Parkinson's disease was quietly claiming more of him each day. After countless surgeries and relentless physical setbacks, he had stopped performing live, a decision that tore at fans' hearts. Every canceled show was a silent admission that things were worse than anyone wanted to believe. The reality was harsh and unavoidable. Ozzy chose to break the silence himself, laying bare the raw truth. The pain was constant. His body no longer obeyed, and simple tasks had become mountains. Standing for long stretches was out of the question, moving freely a distant memory. Despite endless treatments and therapies, he accepted that his days of soaring on stage were behind him. This wasn't defeat, though. It was a boundary he had reached after pushing himself to the brink. What struck fans the most wasn't just his vulnerability, but his unwavering connection to them. For more than 50 years, they had been there. Through the early days in Birmingham, the explosive rise of Black Sabbath, the chaos of scandals and comebacks, the highs and lows. Now, in this final chapter, Ozzy owed them something real. He revealed his plan. Not a farewell tour, no elaborate goodbye spectacle. Just one last concert. A single powerful night to say goodbye not only to the stage, but to everything he'd lived for. Doctors warned it was risky. Even one performance could take a toll. Yet, he was determined. Then came a photo that shattered the internet. Ozzy, fragile and pale, lying in a hospital bed, surrounded by machines. The world asked, "Is this the end?" But that image was months old, taken after surgery during a difficult recovery. Though fragile, he was stable now. That moment of vulnerability sparked waves of emotion and support. When Ozzy finally spoke publicly, his words hit like thunder. He admitted the pain was relentless. Walking was a struggle, singing more demanding than ever. But amid it all, he wanted one final show. Just one. Not for the industry, not for fame or records, but for the fans who stood by him all these years. "This is my goodbye," he said simply. Those words echoed far beyond the music world. After years of decline, hope, and worry, Ozzy was ready to close the book on his terms. This was no comeback. It was a farewell, a final curtain call. Black Sabbath announced their Back to the Beginning concert on July 5th at Villa Park in Birmingham, the birthplace of their legend. For the first time in 2 decades, the original lineup, Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, and a countryside retreat in the English Midlands. Private jets have offered him freedom to travel while managing health needs, underscoring his blend of rock star lifestyle with practical necessities. From the raw energy of his youth to the calm acceptance of today, Ozzy Osbourne's story is one of transformation, courage, and unbreakable bonds. His final concert isn't just an event. It's a testament to a man who refused to be defined by his struggles, choosing instead to say goodbye on his own terms, with the music and the fans that made him immortal. If you felt that, drop a like, share your thoughts, and hit subscribe, because more jaw-dropping legends are coming your way.